enseña a hacer quesos deliciosos y sinceros, con amor y pasión. Sus conocimientos son varios, desde el campesino al queso costeño, quesos suramericanos, una delicia en tu paladar. El doctor quesero, un sabio en la creación, quesos de Colombia, Venezuela y su tradición. Mozzarella y Camembert, su destreza es única. Curado cheddar, cada queso es una obra magistral. En Argentina el queso cremoso, un manjar celestial. Con cada receta nos transporta a un mundo natural. Una vida sin quesos, un romance sin besos. El lema del doctor en cada bocado impreso. Doctor quesero, un talento sin igual. De África a Europa sus quesos conquistan el ideal. El doctor quesero, con su arte y pasión, quesos internacionales, una verdadera bendición. Quesero, con su arte y pasión, quesos internacionales, una verdadera bendición. El doctor quesero, un sabio en la creación, quesos de Colombia, Venezuela y su...
Hola amigos, ¿cómo están ustedes? Sorry, this show is in English. How are you guys? I'm having kind of echo here, I reckon. No, it's fine. I don't have any echo. I'm here, I'm listening here, the background, and everything is fine, all right? Hi everyone, welcome to my English version of Ask the Chief Doctor. Uh, yes, I haven't, I'm having this. Wait, let me see how I can fix it. No, you're not having echo. Now I have it. Yeah, I turn it off. All right, everyone, welcome to my YouTube show in English. This is the English version of Ask the Cheese Doctor. If you want to learn how to make cheese and you are an English speaker, this is the right place so you can learn. I have spoken with many people, and I mean English speakers, and teachers, but I don't understand what you say. You say always in Spanish. Okay, that's true. But now that my English audience is growing up, I'm doing now I'm making the show in English so everyone can understand and everyone can learn as well how to make cheese. Okay, and my name is Dietrich Truxas and I am the cheese doctor, Doctor Quesero in Spanish. Okay, I am Spanish ascendant, Venezuelan, and I learned how to make cheese here in New Zealand. I'm based in Auckland, New Zealand. All right. So if you follow me, you can learn how to make cheese commercially and home cheese makings as well. All right. Today we are going. This show lasts more or less half an hour, depending of the audience. If you have any question, do be my guest. You can ask me any question in English. I prefer, okay, because this show is in English. If you want to go to the Spanish version, you have to go. You have to attend at 9:30 a.m. New Zealand time every Saturday. Every Saturday. Okay. So, all right. Today we're going to speak about something very here. But before we carry on, let's say hello. Let me say hello. I have people in YouTube, but they're not replying. Okay, no worries. If you have any question in YouTube, please let me know. But in YouTube, sorry, in Instagram, I have Fernando Alfaro, Dennis, C. Cresa, M. Lucia, Arocha, Abdon. Abdon is a friend of mine. Hector Lamosas, Olucia Vera, Edgar, Juan, Berm, Williams, Jones. All right, good. Okay, anyway, today we're going to, yeah, and today we are going to speak about a risk. Imagine yourself that you are in the supermarket, okay, or in a gourmet store, looking for a good and yummy camembert, and suddenly it no longer exists. Big, how we say here, big problem. Hey, this is not an exaggeration. Did you know that the traditional camembert cheese is in danger of disappearing? Did you know that? And I mean camembert made with raw milk, not the camembert made with pasteurized milk, because pasteurized milk camembert you can find it anywhere, any store, but the real one, the original one. I'm not talking about the camembert of Normandy, because it has a denomination of origin. I'm talking about the traditional one, the one that we make with raw milk. Okay, according to the statistic in recent years, and I have made my homework. I have investigated a little bit about it, and I have scientific data about it. In recent years, the traditional camembert production has dramatically decreased, and its future is at risk. So if you didn't know now you know it. Okay, and how did we get this? How did we get here? Okay, I ask for who doesn't know camembert cheese at all. If you don't know the camembert cheese, or if you, for those who already know what the camembert cheese, when I talk about camembert, what first thing comes to your mind? Maybe the creamy texture, maybe the smell, and maybe his mushy mushroom flavor, all right? Um, but before we carry on, for those who doesn't know what the story of the camembert, it's a very beautiful story, so I'm going to tell it to you guys. Camembert was born in Normandy. Normandy is located in France, okay, in the 18th century, and is said to have been created by a woman named Marie Harel. She was French, okay, who, with the help of a monk that was running away from the French Revolution, perfected the recipe. She improved the recipe. Since then, this cheese has become an icon of the region and a global reference of cheesemaking. Camembert, I would say, is the most iconic cheese of France. So it's very important for France. Um, However, the real Normandy Camembert, the real one, is made of raw cow's milk, which give with the cheese its richness and aromas, and of course the flavor that cannot be replicated, can't be replicated with pasteurized milk. Why? Because um, raw milk preserves all its natural bacteria and microorganisms, which is fundamental to its sensory profile. I would say that traditionally, the camembert has um, I lost my no, here. Traditionally, the camembert made in Normandy has a protected designation of origin. It's PDO in French or in English, I don't know. It means that it must meet specific criteria to make the cheese. It includes to be made with raw milk, and the traditional method should be according to a standard recipe that people need comply, or that the cheesemakers need to comply to make this type of cheese. Okay, for those unfamiliar with camembert cheese, one of the most emblematic characteristic is that it's white rind. This cheese has a white rind that and it looks like a cotton, that is covering all the cheese, and this mold or fungus is called Penicillium camemberti. This fungus is not only give the cheese its white appearance, um, it is responsible also for its flavor and its creamy texture. Over the time, the rind develops aromas and that goes from ranging notes, okay, sorry, from mushroom notes to earthy flavors. However, sorry, in other words, Camembert cheese, I would say that it's a living creature. It's a living cheese. And as long as it matures, it goes from having a firmer texture on the center of the cheese to become increasingly creamy and sometimes even fluid. I'm not talking about fluid as water, but fluid as honey, for example. Okay. And its flavor also changes. Initially, it goes from milky and then it goes mild, and over the time, it will develop as a strong and intense flavor and complex notes and stuff. Okay. By the way, many people confuse Camembert cheese with Brie cheese, but there are several key differences between the two of them. For example, traditional Camembert is smaller, around 250 grams and about 10 centimeters in diameter. Its texture is also a little bit harder or denser, is the word, and its flavor is usually stronger. And while Brie, due to his larger size, because the Brie is about 30 centimeters, more or less, 30, 35 centimeters, and it's the same thickness, but it's bigger in diameter. Okay, and because of this size, the cheese matures differently and tends to be softer and yeah, softer and smoother to the palate, right? Um, Now, why should we worry about? Let me talk. Let me put. Let me put them here. I forgot to put the slide. All right. Now we talk about the we're talking about the history. Okay. So and the characteristic of the camembert. Okay. Um, Now we call why should we worry about the disappearance of camembert? Why we have to worry about it if it is just a cheese? And the reality is that this camembert issue, um, if it goes far beyond the cheese, how do you say? Um, if it is far beyond, we're going to lose a cultural symbol. We're going to lose as well a century of gastronomic tradition and a worldwide reference in the world of cheese. So, why is it important to discuss this? I'll give you three reasons. First one, Camembert is not just a cheese. Camembert is part of France. It's a part of France's cultural identity, and the world it is one of the most iconic artisan cheese of the world. Okay, um, if the traditional version, I'm talking about the traditional version, and if this traditional version disappears, we're gonna lose not just a product, we're gonna lose a piece of France, I would say. We're gonna lose again a legacy which has been transmitted from generation to generation. Imagine this case scenario, for example. What would happen if Bordeaux wines, to put an example, or the Iberian hams, which is called in Spanish queso ibérico. Okay, what happens if this product stop being produced in the traditional way? It, in my opinion, it would be a culinary and cost and cultural disaster. Okay, the same would happen with Camembert cheese. Okay? The case of Camembert is a perfect example of the struggle between artisan and industrial production. Today, the traditional producers, the artisan producers, or the cheeses, the entrepreneurs that produce the cheeses artisanally, they face enormous challenges against the large industries, is the word, because these large industries, what they are interested in is in maximizing profit, reducing costs, and produce standard product. And if the traditional version of Camembert disappears, we're gonna lose more than a name. We're gonna lose. We will lose its authenticity and and flavor complexity. Um, to put it in perspective, a cheese made with raw milk mature also differently and has more intense aromas and unique texture that cannot be replicated with pasteurized milk. This is very important for you to understand. If we allow industrialization to replace artisan production, we'll end up with products that are pretty much genetic. They will all taste the same. And in my opinion, these cheeses will not have any personality and no history because they just made in bulk. See? So the real problem is not the disappearance of traditional camembert. The real problem is that this trend might extend to another type of cheeses. If we, for example, if we produce, let's say, Havarti, or Roquefort, if we produce it in massive way, we will not have as well the the traditional flavor of the real Roquefort. So, as I said, it might extend to other cheeses, so that's not good. All right. So let's change. Let's go to the next slide. All right. Now, now, what is affecting or what is threatening the Camembert? In this slide, we're going to analyze four keys that are threatening the authenticity of the Camembert cheese. Right? I'm talking about the traditional, not the, as I said before, not the, how do you say, not the industrialized one. Okay. The first factor is the mutation, and I would say is the most important one. Okay. As I mentioned before, the fungus used to make, or the mold used to make Camembert cheese is a mold called Penicillium camemberti. This white fungus didn't always exist in its current form. Before, Camembert cheese had different color molds. Okay, they were blue, part of blue, and even orange. But in the late 19th century, the French scientists found an albino mutation. Albino is that no pigment on the organism. They found an albino mutation of Penicillium camemberti that was milder in flavor and more visually attractive to the clients, to the consumer, because it was really white. Since then, this mold has been cloned and cloned and cloned continuously, making all brie and all camembert cheeses of the world dependent of this single strain. And the original version was not used anymore. And however, the traditional Roquefort, the traditional Camembert, sometimes has this pigment, so that we're losing it. And here's the problem: Penicillium camemberti have been cloning itself for over 100 years, see, and has lost its ability to reproduce sexually, which means that its aging is degenerating over time because it's getting old. That's the problem. Okay? So, what are the consequences? according to what I have investigated, scientists have discovered this mold of how do you say? Scientists have discovered that the mold is losing the ability to produce enough spores, which I would say it would mean that we're not going to have enough fungus for large scale productions. You know what I mean? If we go in, I'm talking about in the future. Additionally, without this genetic activity, the Penicillium camemberti could be vulnerable to other type of diseases and harmful mutations. Um, this is, for example, this case is this example that I said before about the Camembert, the penicillin, is similar to what's happening to the Cavendish bananas. Cavendish banana is a type of banana, or some orange and kiwi crops here in New Zealand, which have been cloned for so long that they become weak against diseases. So it's a problem. So, but we are not here to talk about problems. We're here to talk about solutions. So what can be done? Very easy. Well, not so easy. Okay, finding a new penicillin strain in nature is very difficult because white fungus is a very specific mutation and it's spread all over the planet. So what's been done is that some scientists now are trying to genetically modify the mold to recover its diversity and ensure long-term survival. See? So, but meanwhile, cheese producers are worried because its penicillin camemberti now is becoming available, and the camembert industry might stumble. You know what I mean? So let's talk about case number two, regulations and protected designation of origin. This is another problem that is because in recent years, new health and safety regulation regarding to food has imposed stricter restrictions on raw milk use, and many producers have had to use pasteurized milk to avoid contamination or cross contamination problems. Um, which completely change the flavor and texture of the cheeses. Simple. Additionally, the industry has allowed product made with pasteurized milk to be sold under the name of Camembert de Normandy, which is not correct because Camembert of Normandy is only the cheese that is made in Normandy and is being fed and is being manufactured with milk produced by Normandy cows. Okay. Um, this dilutes the original product authenticity and confuse also the consumers, which is not good. And cheese industrialization is previously cheese is another problem. Sorry, cheese industrialization is another problem, and I talked about it before. Camembert was produced artisanally in an artisan way in small cheese factories, following traditional methods, right? However, today we have companies and large companies that have taken control of the production using industrial techniques, and these companies they don't um, their priority is to make a standard product, okay, and improve efficiency in the manufacturing process. Okay. Also, the use of standardized cultures. They use standardized cultures. Um, when we use these cultures only have two or three species of one strain of one or two, max three species of lactic cultures, and not the whole portfolio of cultures that we can find in the raw milk, which tells that raw milk, cheese is made with raw milk. I'm talking about camembert ones. Of course, is the flavor is outstanding. Okay. Um, Large-scale molds are used changing texture and mixing cheeses from homogeneous, losing their identity. The result, a more commercial product and less authentic. Okay. Also, the changes in consumption and market, and this is another issue. And here I'm referring to how consumption of traditional cheeses has decreased, especially between younger generations or among younger generations. They because they prefer a more accessible, a more standard, and a more easy to consume product, and of course a cheaper one. Additionally, globalization has led many consumers to opt for better known cheeses like cheddar or brie, even brie, putting aside the Camembert cheese. The authentic Camembert cheese is more expensive. That's a rule. Why? Because it's made with raw milk, it's made one by one and not in a massive way. So, and also there is a habit nowadays to change for organic products. Okay, um, and not for organic product, for I would say for vegan products, lactose-free versions of cheeses, and this is another problem that reduces the interest of the consumer in Camembert, right? However, I saw somewhere a person from France that he was making lactose-free or vegan cheeses, um, and he was making a Camembert. I don't remember his name. It's a French one. Okay, let's go with the next slide. And now, um, let's talk about the global impact and the future of the Camembert, because we have this, and to that I'm gonna have number one, the response of the producers. Um, the producer or the Camembert producer have responded to the crisis in different ways. Okay, the small producer fight to maintain the traditional raw milk recipe, which is fine, despite the regulations and commercial challenges. Okay, um, some of these companies or some of these producers have formed associations, and some of them have formed cooperatives in between them to defend their product and educate the consumer about the use and the importance of raw milk in cheese quality. In my personal opinion, a cheese made with raw milk is the best is the best experience that you can have. All right. I'm talking about aged cheeses, not fresh cheeses. Fresh cheeses, you have to use it compulsorily you have to make it compulsorily with pasteurized milk because it's not allowed by the standards. Okay. Um, Another thing to consider is that large industry have taken another path. They have reformulated the camembert with pasteurized milk. Now, all the large companies they make, sorry, camembert cheese using pasteurized milk for mass production and to comply with the regulation of each country. I'm not talking about only New Zealand, for each country. However, this version has lost um, some of the character and flavor and complexity. This cheese doesn't taste the same. This industrial production. Um, Now, let's find the alternative and possible scenarios. And in regarding to this, I would say that we have, for example, case scenario number one, that the traditional Camembert revival. Okay, um, this this scenario will increase the consumer awareness about artisan product quality, and this could drive new demand for raw milk Camembert. This is one scenario. Another scenario could be that the small companies could get special certification to differentiate the industrial version from the art or the traditional version. That's another case scenario, and we promote the production of Camembert. Of course, without deceiving the consumer. We have to tell it to the consumer, no, this is done in an industrial way, this is done in a traditional way. Of course, but if we have a special certification, um, this would be a good thing. Case scenario number two, that the camembert, the industrial camembert dominates, and the pressure of industrialization and health and safety regulation about cheesemaking I'm referring to, and could make the traditional camembert increasingly rare. So um, the industrial camembert would continue global expansion with more homogeneous flavor and texture, and we will lose the tradition of the camembert. This is the other case scenario. And the third case scenario, and the last one, is that the camembert might evolve. I call it camembert evolution. And in this case scenario, some cheesemaker could be experimenting with alternative versions using new agents and fermentation techniques to achieve different flavors. And the future might bring new camembert variants or variations inspired by the original, but now adapted uh, cheese to the changes of the market. Okay. Uh, Number three, we have here the growing interest in artisanal product. And to talk about this topic, I would say that despite cheese industrialization, a global trend could save Camembert, um, which means that the rise of artisanal or local product consumption, um, more people could value food with history. Today, and this growing interest is that if we definitely this type of product are going to be more expensive, but if the cheese involved history, involved in the traditional process, and we let the client know or the consumer know that it involves a traditional process, and we use quality ingredients, the interest of the organic, and the interest in there's people interested in this traditional method, and they are keen to pay more for this type of product. And in this case, the cheese will have demand, and therefore the cheese, the tradition will not be lost, will not be lost. Okay. Also, by promoting artisanal cheese stores, farmer markets, and delis that promote this artisanal product, okay, um, will give the cheese, will promote that cheese made with raw milk, which is the real camembert, and also by promoting cheese tasting, gastronomic events, and of the most important, to educate the consumer about the authentic tradition of eating a camembert made with raw milk. Okay. um, I would say that, and to finish that, the fate of camembert is not sealed yet. In my personal opinion, whether this cheese remains a gastronomic icon or becomes just a memory, it will depend on us. It will depend on us as a consumer, it will depend on us as producers, and it will depend also on us as tradition defenders. What can we do? Easy. Stay informed and support the artisanal producers like me and demand transparency in the product that we consume, and demand and also transparency in we have to be clear with the product that we make. We have to tell our client, this is industrial, this is artisanal. In my case, I always work as an artisanal. I make artisanal cheeses because I'm small, and each cheese is a different journey for me. So, and this is the thing, right? In this way, we can ensure that the Camembert has a bright future and doesn't disappear due to industrialization. Well, I hope you have liked this presentation. And if you want to know a little bit more about cheese making, you can um, go to my website and take one of my courses. Okay, I put the wrong. It's in English, and you can go to my website and you'll find the course in English. So don't worry about it. If you want the link, just flick me an email through Messenger, through Instagram, and I will flick you the link of the course in English, and I will have a problem. Okay, so well, this is it. Let me see. Here we have Conquer Soul, cheap viewers on view online. I don't know what it is. Hermes, God Save the Camembert. Yeah, good. And in Instagram, I have. They're talking in Spanish. All right, no problem. Okay, no problem. Thank you. Well, that's it. I don't have any question here. If you guys want to ask me something, I would be keen to answer your question. Otherwise, we'll leave. I'm just starting to make these shows in English, so I don't expect many people to attend because my audience is pretty much in Spanish. But doesn't matter. I am promoting these videos in my website in China, in Bilibili, and also in the English speakers Facebook pages and stuff. So, but no worry. Thank you for coming, and I really appreciate it. I'm gonna because I'm starting my outro is still in Spanish, but I'm gonna start making the outros in English. So don't worry. Thanks for everything, and see you next week, same time, 11 o'clock, a little bit, maybe a little bit late. And something very important: you just one cheese away of success, and if you follow me, you will get there. See you next week. Bye bye.